Hey Dad, we're all loaded up. We got the Mecalac back on the trailer. It's gonna be a hot one today. We gotta stop for fuel and we're heading back to the trail. Hopefully today and maybe tomorrow we'll clean up some of the water issues that we had with the rain we had the last few days. Made it quite wet. Got some ditches to dig and a couple other spots to clean up, but not too much. So let's get at it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna, let me flip this around here. We've got this ditch here that's almost empty, being blocked by these trees, or bushes, I guess. And then we've got a little bit of a pond here that will open up. And then we're gonna open up a ditch here, and there's a bigger pond right up there. We'll have that all drained down. Then we'll go around that corner right there. There's a culvert on the other side, and that'll all get drained out there. some water flowing now. That'll fill up there. And eventually it'll fill up down here and go through that culvert. And it'll drain out on this side where I dug a hole over there for some water. Let's see what's next. Okay, it's near the end of the day. I didn't do a whole lot of recording today because it's pretty much the same thing I've been doing. Load this stuff, drive, and dump. Just to fix up some of the wet spots after all the rain we had. So we're just here at the end of the swamp. I've got a half a dozen or so of those piles up higher. I'll spread those out tomorrow and compact them. Then we've got to go from this section around a few of the corners here just to raise this up a bit higher and get rid of the water. All right, that's it for today. It's hot out. You'll notice there's only 2 machines here. That's because the cat has to stay at home if I'm not using it. Otherwise, somebody will come steal the fuel out of it. I got a call. Well, actually, first I got a Facebook message from one of the guys on the trail with a picture. That's the thumbnail on this video. My machine with the red gas jug on the ground. He sent me that picture on Facebook Messenger and said to call him. That's one of the guys that volunteers for the trail. So I called him and he said, "Hey, I just caught somebody stealing fuel out of your machine." I said, "Oh, geez." I said, "I must have forgot to lock the fuel door." He says, "No, he had his own cat key. It's still in the lock. He got him on video." So he called the police. I came over and met with the police. They wanted a statement from me to make sure he wasn't one of my employees or I didn't leave my key around anywhere, but I had my keys with me. And I brought my trailer and brought the machine home. Look, there's one of his, in the big escape, there's one of his pieces of gas jug as he was escaping on his four-wheeler. When I got here Saturday night, there was 4 or 5 of the red gas jugs. 2 up by my machine right around the corner. There was one right over there. There was another one back here. They must have all fallen off his bike while the guy that was videoing him tried to put him under arrest, but he fled away on his four-wheeler. So it's great that the cats have one key for everything, the ignition and the fuel door. The bad part is you can order those keys on Amazon. And one of those cat keys will fit in any machine. There's another piece of his fuel jugs. So I'm not sure if there's another aftermarket fuel cap with a separate key that I can get. Now, this has only ever happened here. This is apparently a bad part of town for theft in this area. But I am thankful that he didn't damage anything. He just took the fuel. It had a little over half a tank in it, so it's probably maybe $100 worth of diesel. So we got that dealt with. That was the second time that I've had fuel theft here. The other time was in the Mecalac when it was my fault because I didn't lock the back lid where the fuel is. So I can't say much about that one. And luckily the Mecalac is a little bit more of a unique machine, so keys are not as readily available. So I don't know what other contractors do if they experience that issue with machines that are left on job sites. If they have similar situations, if anybody's watching, you can leave a comment down below. Maybe give me some advice. This is the only spot it's happened in the 2.5 years that I've been doing this for myself, so maybe I've just been lucky. I've left my equipment right in the middle of cities. Yeah, had no issues. And here I am out in the middle of the woods. Yeah, and people wanting to steal fuel. Oh well. The cops called me yesterday while I was at the Dodge dealership getting my truck serviced. Wanted to know if I was going to press charges. I said, "What happens if I press charges?" "Well, you'll have to go to court." all that stuff. I said, yeah. I said, over $100 worth of fuel, it's not worth my time. And I don't really know that it would do any good. I'm not sure what would happen to this guy. And it is a guy. They did tell me his name. So, anyway, part of the job, I guess. I'm sure that there's a lot worse things that could have happened. I've seen guys get to their equipment with windows smashed out and damage done. So, like I said, I'm very thankful that none of that happened. Just a little bit of fuel. So if he needed it that bad, then he can have it. Well, that's it for today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Hopefully get this trail done this week, as long as everybody's on the same page with what they want to see for results. Talk to you later. According to that, it's 45 degrees out. That's crazy.